Flood escape, natural disaster survival, work at a pizza place, guest defense, Innovation Inc., sword fights on the heights. These were games that I spent a lot of time on as a child, but upon looking at these games' player counts, it becomes clear that these games are dead and empty, at least in contrast to how popular they used to be. You see, the kids of Roblox today enjoy different games, like Skibbity Toilet Tower Defense and Grow a Garden. So why are these games so dead now? Was it a lack of change? Did they just get boring? Well, no. It's just that the platform has changed completely.
Life is Roblox.
Let's go back to 2013, the year I joined Roblox. Back then, the site had this raw unique weirdness to it. The homepage was clunky, the avatars were blocky, and the UI looked like something from a middle school computer class. But that was the charm. It didn't feel corporate. It felt like a weird little club of people trying to make games. The platform was quite niche at the time, having only 10 million players, a lot of whom were guest accounts. But little did Dave know, his platform was about to take off. 2013 to 2015, this is what I like to call the Golden Age of Roblox. You were given tickets every day, which you could exchange for items or save up and exchange it for Robux. Even if you were broke, you were still able to fully customize your avatar, and you could be a guest too. No pressure, no account, you could just click play and have a good time. It felt free, like the internet was supposed to. It felt incredibly simplistic, but good. Upon logging in, I was given tickets that I could do whatever I wanted with. Despite its simplicity, the platform was so vast, and the experience of it interacting with users was so good at this time, that there was nothing else like it on the internet. Club Penguin was their only real competitor at the time. Games just felt like fun little creations made out of passion or fun. Forums on Roblox were a feature that allowed people to talk to each other and ask questions. They were active and chaotic at times, but it felt like any other forum on the internet. It felt homely in a way. It made the game feel like it had an active community, rather than just numbers of a player count. Within the gameplay, the cursor looked strange and oversized, and the UI looked quite odd too. I remember click and point being so finicky too, but it's such a classic feature that feels integral to old Roblox, and when you spoke, it came up in a text bubble. If you wanted more Robux, you could always get Builders Club, which gave you a hard hat and had 3 tiers, Basic, Turbo and Outrageous, of which I still have the Basic and Turbo hat to this day. Moreover, the site actually felt like a website, whilst the new one feels like a menu. Games were promoted based on the number of players, favourites and likes, which is quite different now, but we'll talk more about this later. By 2014, the site had a whopping 75 million registered users, a 65 million increase from the start of 2013. This year, they added smooth terrain and realistic water, which was a good change for people trying to easily build landscapes in Creator Studio. Visually, it was a huge improvement, but it was also the first step in Roblox's movement away from its classic look. They also modernized the GUI, having a new chat system alongside a new item system, the backpack. The platform at this point still felt very similar overall. This was the last year of the era of what I like to call old Roblox. Let's talk about what the games were like during this period of Roblox. The beauty of early Roblox is that people made cool stuff with the incredibly limited tools available to them. Games like Work at a Pizza Place, Apocalypse Rising, and Natural Disaster Survival were very popular during this era, all of which emphasized the aspects of simplicity and ease of access on the platform at the time. Though there were still many clear low-effort games, like Card Ride into Insert Child-Friendly Character, and the dumb Area 51 games that were everywhere because of uncopy locking. 2016, The Shift. By this point, Roblox wasn't just evolving, it was shifting towards something cleaner. In January 2016, Roblox launched on Xbox, expanding its user base, and the UI became more unified across Xbox and console, now being quite different to how it used to be back in 2013. On March 15th, 2016, Roblox announced that they'd be removing tickets, and no one wanted this change. There was general hatred towards this change, with many petitions against it, and multiple rest in peace text places on Roblox.
Without you, my friend.
After they removed tickets on the 14th of April, that was it. It meant you couldn't get anything for free anymore. I remember saving up tickets for a body package that I really wanted. It felt like I earned it. Now it's just open wallet, buy Robux, buy item. There's no charm in it. There was no reason for this change apart from just pure greed, as they knew that by having Robux as their only currency, people would have no choice at all but to buy it if they wanted to customize their character. This was the first real change that clearly pointed Roblox in a more corporate direction. Roblox also... Ew, that was a terrible voice crack. Roblox also first introduced the R15 model, a more animated version of the more blocky static moving R6 at the time, having 15 moving body parts instead of 6. I feel this was a good change. The movement felt smoother, despite the fact that R6 will forever be nostalgic for me. They also began to promote games differently, more so through retention and CTR, in comparison to the user metrics I mentioned before. They began having the game page laid out differently, with sections like recommended to you. They also began to make changes to Builders Club, with them removing the icon from the player list in games and replacing it with an arrow. Games like Murder Mystery 2, Phantom Forces, and Prison Life were very popular during this year, and they demonstrated how games were starting to get a lot more unique and advanced as Roblox Studio became more capable. 2017 to 2019, Corporate Degeneration. In 2017, Roblox started to modernize by largely oversimplifying the platform. By this point, the platform had a whopping 30 million active monthly users. They also changed the Roblox logo to a simplistic coin icon, and they also changed the brand's logo with basic, more corporate text, but keeping the red theme of the logo. These two changes demonstrates how they were trying to oversimplify the platform at the time, going for a more basic looking platform. On the 3rd of October 2017, they removed the guest feature completely. They did this because they wanted more people to create accounts, as it'd get them to come back and play the games more. They noted it was due to moderation concerns, as exploiters could join games as a guest and hack without repercussions. But this doesn't really make sense, as with normal accounts, you can just use a VPN and make a new one after it gets banned. It seems like such an over-the-top solution to such a minor problem. It was simply about control, about turning Roblox into a platform where every interaction could be moderated. By removing guests, they completely destroyed the comfort of anonymity and something that was core to the identity of Roblox at the time. Let's talk about forums and how Roblox removed them completely. A YouTuber and streamer called Quackity hosted a raid on Roblox. A raid is where a creator's fanbase rallies together on specific games for fun. It wasn't really malicious, but Roblox just doesn't like any sort of external attention for whatever reason. So they banned his account, censored his name in chat, and so he went to the forums, having his fanbase spam it, requesting his account to be unbanned. They instead proceeded to add a filter that restricted posting if your account was 2 years old. Oh, nope, 13 years old. Older than the platform itself at the time. Moderation issues like this on forums led to them just removing forums completely, as often raiding, spamming, and personal harassment occurred on the forums. Whilst this change obviously altered the platform, I think it may have been necessary due to the scope of how large the platform was getting. It had been impossible to properly moderate a forum page on a platform that now had in the tens of millions of active users, and for a platform marketed towards largely children, they didn't really need a communication feature like that anymore. In 2018, they yet again changed the logo, turning it black, making it feel incredibly plain and corporate, completely detached from how it used to look. And in 2019, they removed Builders Club completely. I remember going from basic to turbo and bragging about it to my grandma. But now Builders Club is gone and replaced by Roblox Premium, just a bland corporate subscription with zero identity. They also added user-generated content in the avatar catalogue. This changed the game's catalogue dramatically. It was flooded with replica cheap items, and many other items of anything that you can imagine. This opened up the scope of what was available, rather than being stuck to the limited collection of hats made by Roblox. All clothing was user-made before anyways, right? What could possibly go wrong? Oh no. Okay, I will admit, the user-generated content isn't that bad of a feature. Whilst it is more difficult to moderate, it makes the site feel more user-friendly, giving us the scope to wear whatever we want. This is one of the changes I actually like about the platform. On the other hand though, I do dislike the copied items from Roblox, as it's just... What's the point of Roblox selling the platform-made items if someone can just copy it and sell it for a lower price. I also disagree that they allow anyone to make limited items. It's just oversaturated the market for limiteds in general, and it takes away from the limiteds that were originally there. Suggestive items, poorly made clones, and low effort spam clutter the marketplace. Whilst it's a good idea in nature, Roblox just doesn't moderate it enough. Popular games during this time included Jailbreak, which was essentially a remake of Prison Life that had a more interesting gameplay loop where you escaped jail and robbed banks and stuff. There was also Tower of Hell, which is a pretty fun tower platformer, where if you fall, you have to go back up from the start. Other notable games included Bee Swarm Simulator, Arsenal, Booga Booga, Bloxburg, Adopt Me, Flee the Facility, and many others. 2020s, the Brainrot Era. By the early 2020s, Roblox quietly started ditching the website feel altogether. The homepage slowly became less about exploring and more about engagement loops. You don't browse games anymore, you get served them. No more genre lists, no more scouring obscure pages for hidden gems, just algorithms. They changed the name of the catalogue to Marketplace, and in 2021, they changed the names of games to Experiences for whatever reason. Another quiet but massive change. Roblox got rid of user ads. Remember the old banner ads made by 12-year-olds begging you to play Cool Tycoon free? Gone. Why? Because apparently it was causing too many issues with moderation. Roblox stopped encouraging grassroots growth, and now it's just engagement metrics. What is that noise?
It's alright.
What the fuck? Voice chat. A feature nobody asked for. Voice chat was added in 2021, supposedly to increase communication. Instead, voice chat introduced a more toxic, adult-centric environment. You log into a game for fun and you're met with edgy teenagers and people mic spamming. It feels disconnected from the spirit of what Roblox was meant to be, a kid-friendly creative space. The platform doesn't put focus on games that are creative or fun to play in nature anymore, but ones that people just keep playing, resulting in these god-awful games like Grow a Garden and other copies which you just get nothing out of playing. I tried it and found it incredibly boring. There's no immersive or fun experience in those kind of games that seems so popular now. It's not like Theme Park Tycoon, where you can have fun building rides making an amusement park. Now, the site feels like a shell of its former self. Oversimplified, corporate, and it doesn't even feel like a website. I feel that Roblox is a good example of when something changes enough, it'll feel foreign entirely. Now while this video may seem like it's purely slagging off the changes to the platform, when it comes to whether it's better or not overall, the answer is yes and no. The games on Roblox now are far better than they used to be. There are some seriously impressive games on the platform, but to get to those games, you have to sift through so much garbage that it just doesn't feel worth it to me anymore. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.